Scenes.
Oh my days.
Oh,
Hello everyone,
hello.
all the faithful listeners.
Yes, I'm Graham. Who's that?
Who? Ewan.
Yep, that's him.
I forgot. And you're listening to the Scenes podcast.
This is the Scenes podcast.
We
Yes.
talk about TV, we talk about movies, we sometimes talk about games.
Yes, a varied range.
Varied range. Today,
Today,
we're talking about, however, socio-economical, socio-political, geopolitical movements. We're talking about world events.
Yes.
We're talking about philosophical movements in the modern era.
I would say so. That we're talking about the US government acknowledging UFOs.
We are talking about the US government, but something perhaps more important than that came out, Marvel's Secret Invasion.
He's right. He's fucking right. You know.
And much like how the arc reactor is proof that Tony Stark has a heart,
Yeah.
the Secret Invasion is the proof that the MCU can make something bad.
Yes, I would agree.
No.
Mid-TV show.
We might get around to it, but yeah, that was a show. Quite like it. Is it better or worse than Thor 4?
Maybe. Probably. Most likely. Yes.
There you go. The bar's still there, guys. Don't worry. Oh my
That
days.
is the bar. If forever will be the bar,
It
most
will-
likely.
It will be the bar. We just hold everything to it now. If you want it on the tier list, though, I pretty much would probably put it in F above Thor or D above Thor.
Probably.
Better than Thor, but probably not that great. Anyway, though, but that's not important. The
You're not here
UFOs,
for that.
Who cares?
Who cares? We knew it.
Let's talk about something else that features Bensley King of Deer.
Yes.
It is marking of the time of recording at least a few days past the date, 21st of July,
Yes.
2023.
The day the bombs dropped.
The bombs did drop. We are living in a post-Barbenheimer world.
Yes, we are.
We're bopping Barbie.
Bopping Barbie.
Oppenheimer Barb.
Things.
Pick Barb if you celebrate Pikmin 4 as well, of course.
Oh, of course. Pikmin 4. Who could forget Game of the Year Pikmin 4?
But give the Pikmin 4. I heard it's quite good actually. We went to see Oppenheimer and
Yeah.
went to see Barbie.
Scenes cast, day trip.
Oh,
The movies.
Out.
Yes.
We went to a convention. It was a Comic
There was
Con.
a Comic Con.
Colin Baker was there.
Yes.
J. Robert Oppenheimer was there.
Probably.
The real J. Robert Oppenheimer.
Secretly.
He's dead actually.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Good guy.
Father of the atomic bomb.
Damn, man.
But yeah, Barbenheimer is the topic of the day. We're very excited to talk about this.
Aye.
Look forward to it.
Damn.
And I was joking, but it's a thing. It's a big thing.
Yes.
Why do you think that is, Graham?
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I don't remember two movies releasing the same day and having so much collective hype about the double feature being a thing. So that's kind of an aspect of it. And it's just sort of people finally coming back to the movies after the pandemic. Because Top Gun was there. That was the biggest one coming out, it was just sort of one movie. And then Marvel's not really been there quality wise to bring it out. So something like this, Christopher Nolan, Barbie, to just come out and bring the people.
Yeah, we are so fucking back. Cinema is back.
We are back.
I saw a really amazing tweet about how, right now, cinematic moments are actually quite powerful. I'm a big Marvel defender, simp through the nut.
Yes.
My opinions about the quality are different than his, but I do sort of understand the concept of in my head, it's now there's other movies that are really worth seeing. And, that's happened 6.5 dozen. There's always movies that we jump in and out, but it's the scale of this and its impact in cinema. I saw a tweet that was Barbie, Oppenheimer, I think it was that No Hard Feelings with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
And then I think Spider-Verse, or it might have been a horror movie, something like Insidious. It's just that sensation of there are other things at the cinema. I can walk into a cinema and just experience a breadth of experiences at their peak, because these are also all very good films. Specifically in this instance as well, though, what really drives it in my head is the dichotomy.
Yeah.
We're talking the completely tonally and structurally and visually opposed films.
Yes.
Thing about, fun enough, at the start of the pandemic, you had Doom Eternal, Animal Crossing.
Yes.
Again, two big profile releases on the same day, completely opposed in tone, structure and everything.
I know Animal Crossing was really dark.
Animal Crossing was really dark. And Doom Eternal was actually surprisingly very nice and happy.
Exactly.
Thing think it's as you say, it's the profile, it's the culture of the time, but it's also what's specifically causing these two elements to buzz together is because they're so public. These are big deals. It's a Barbie movie, one of the most recognisable brands in the world by a really prolific director, and then Oppenheimer is like a movie again by an incredibly prolific director about a very public and known about topic. These things are in your face as much as they can be, and they're right next to each other, and you just can't, every time you look at them, all the memes, you've got like pink happy Barbie and like just firebombing Oppenheimer. It's created a spark.
It has.
And that spark creates a chain reaction.
Oh.
And do you know what we could turn that into? A bomb.
A bomb.
Except not a bomb, because in cinematic terms that means it didn't make money.
Yes.
And these films...
A money bomb.
A money bomb.
Yes.
A big bomb of money.
A big bomb of money.
Notes are raining down over Barbie Land and over Berkeley.
Los
Alamos.
Los Alamos.
Los Alamos. Call of Duty Nuketown. Like...
Sure.
The fridge from Indiana Jones.
Oh.
But yeah, we'll talk about that today. You know, you might actually be listening to this slightly out of sync.
Yeah, we're recording it the furthest along that you've heard so far, but before you'll have heard some episodes probably.
Yeah, so we'll plan on getting this out as soon as. We don't really ride the hype train too much. We'll talk about things, obviously, that are coming out and that we're interested in, but we really want to engage on the energy of the season. Now, Open Barbie's really such a... it's electric. We're all quite happy about what's going on.
Yeah.
So you might be listening to this after... we've got 2 upcoming episodes.
Yes, we've got at least one in the chamber. The most likely one you'll have heard will be Final Fantasy.
Yes, Sephiroth Behaviour.
Sephiroth Behaviour. So listen out for that one. We're quite pleased with that one. That was a good episode we done.
I'm really proud of that episode. It's really a great back and forth chat about, sort of us talking about our experience with the games, and Graham talking about his specific experience playing
16.
Yes, Final Fantasy 16, because you were obviously on that. Quick update. How are we doing with that?
Man, not really played it since that episode, to be honest with you. So gotta go back to it.
This is Graham and my personal folly, where like we will dip in, but there'll just be times where we just can't.
Exactly.
But I think that's human nature.
Something about it.
But you like it. It's not bad, at least.
Aye.
And you can hear obviously our thoughts in that episode.
Yeah, I would say I love gaming, but if I was to drop a hobby, it would probably be the first to go.
It's understandable, like some things are a commitment. I don't think I'll ever stop gaming or talking about it, but the level of commitment required for some things for me sometimes is just so much now.
It's a lot, yeah.
Especially these huge games. Like I have to play Horizon Forbidden West and but hell, I have to play Horizon Zero Dawn. But the idea of like that's a huge game with a big map with probably notes and side quests, and I'm like, that's cool.
Yes.
It's going to take me at least 3 months to complete because
Exactly.
I have to walk every pixel.
You have to see everything.
I have to see every voxel.
With my eyes.
But yeah, and then a little hint for the future, which you're less likely to hear it, but of course, if you have, after around this time, you'll be hearing our Indiana Jones episode.
Yes, our extravaganza, our Indiana Jones tier list ranking thing, whatever it is.
Just, sort of like macking about the movies, just chatting shit. You were saying we're quite proud of the ending of that one actually as well.
Yes, we really like it. We get in the weeds.
We really dig into like our feelings about Dial of Destiny. There's quite a lot of exploration.
There is feelings.
Sort of chat. There's scenes.
There's scenes, yes. Scenes. We write our own scenes at one point.
We do write our own scenes. There's fan fiction in that. Is our fan fiction better than Dial of Destiny?
Most likely.
Most likely. Oh, there you go. Ooh, teaser of the opinions. But yeah, that's a little hint, a little sort of check in with you in the timeline, and maybe a little tease for you if you've not heard those yet.
The multiverse of scenes.
The multiverse of scenes. Oh, if we were out when Multiverse of Madness came out,
oh my,
we'd have cooked with that episode.
It would have been spicy fire.
You would have said you didn't like it, and I would have said I liked it, and we would have strangled each other or kissed.
Yes.
But yeah, we are. Yeah, we're excited for you to hear them. We appreciate you listening if you are listening.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. And yeah, we'll talk about Oppen Barbie.
Let's get into it.
So we started with the 11:30 IMAX screening of Oppenheimer.
Started off early.
We obviously IMAX, well, you want to start early. It's a big movie, 3 hours.
Doesn't feel like it.
Well, yeah, that's something I think we'll genuinely talk about, engage with a lot.
Yes.
We were quite specific about IMAX. Obviously, it's a Christopher Nolan film.
Yes, we wanted to do it in the best way we could, and we thought we'll just take Chris's advice.
Yeah, we tried to watch it as best as advice. We couldn't get the exact film screen because nowhere in Scotland has the specific projector that would, I can't remember the exact fitting, but he had a very particular, like, you have to watch it in this, like, frame or whatever. But we also were like looking at picking the exact seats.
Yes.
He's like, you should sit about sort of slightly after the back towards this area. I'm like, we'll do it, Chris. You said we should. And to be fair, I do think I got possibly the best. I did feel like we were
area.
in the exact perfect place to absorb the entire screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, Oppenheimer is Christopher Nolan's 2023 film about J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the nuclear bomb.
Yes.
It's actually based on a book. I don't know if you put that in the credits.
Yes, based on American Prometheus.
Oh, good one. I couldn't tell if I remember that. I was probably going to say something like fucking American Homer or something.
American Psycho.
American Psycho.
Oh my god.
He has to return some videotapes.
Probably does.
And yeah, it's basically, it's not even necessarily fully autobiographical, or depends on what you define it as. It's basically Oppenheimer at school up through to the development of the nuclear bomb and past that into sort of the major controversy that saw him step out of the public light.
Yes.
It's got Cillian Murphy as Oppenheimer.
Yes.
Robert Downey Jr. as Louis Strauss. I'd say they're the two biggest sort of hitters in the movie.
Definitely.
But you got a couple other like fantastic. I mean, it's a full of people.
Yes.
Like, when I say the actors, I'm thinking like, you know, obviously Oppenheimer's important, Strauss important. Emily Blunt is Kitty Oppenheimer.
Yep.
Florence Pugh, Jean Tatlock. But then you start to dip into the weeds. I mean, Matt Damon obviously is Groves, General Groves. But then after that, you get to like and all of Christopher Nolan's celebrity friends playing a random assortment of cameos and just acting the hell out of the 3 lines that they've got.
Yes. And yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a good summary of the cast of the film, yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm sure we'll name names as we get by them if we pop in our heads.
Yeah.
So, we've got a fun little dichotomy of opinions here.
Oh.
Graham, you are the Christopher Nolan person. I've not really seen any Christopher Nolan films other than
the Batman
movies, and now this.
And this is the only other one?
This is the only other one. Like Inception, I'd like to see.
Is it your favourite Christopher Nolan movie?
It's my favourite one. Yeah, I probably liked it more than The Dark Knight. But like, that's a bold statement. But then I'm like, would I say that if I hadn't seen Matt Reeves as the Batman? Do you know what I mean? If that was the
you think
best,
that's a better Batman movie?
I do. So in my head, I've got a better idea of a Batman movie.
Right.
So I can happily take Dark Knight slightly off the pedestal.
Right.
But then I think it's unfair for me to compare it because I need to see more than the superhero films.
Right.
I need to watch like Inception or like
Interstellar.
Is that Nolan? Interstellar, there's Gravity.
Yeah.
Who's Gravity then?
Gravity's Coron.
Right, okay, that's fair. Like, I need to see like Interstellar and all that before I can get a good thing. But yeah, I think Oppenheimer is my favourite out of like the 4.
Right.
But you know, you've seen obviously a
more,
lot.
Not all, but more.
So what did you think of Oppenheimer?
It's very good.
It's very good.
Very good.
He's very good.
I don't know. I mean, it's an Oscar sweep, right? We just know it is already. No matter what the competition is, this is probably the one to beat, right?
I think so.
But I don't know. I don't think he's won any Oscar before.
Okay.
For direction, I don't think he might have. We'd need to double check that.
We need to cross-reference that.
I'm not sure.
You know, you are right. I don't really remember Nolan himself getting.
Yes.
I'm sure he's got like an Oscar under his belt, but it might be for like an actor or something. But I don't really keep up with the Oscars too much, unfortunately. They happen and then they disappear for me.
Yep, no wins. What's that? 5 nominations.
5 nominations.
So Best Picture for Dunkirk, Best Director for Dunkirk, Best Picture for Inception, Best Screenplay for Inception, and Memento.
Okay. See, I think this has to win something because.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, 5 nominations. That's pretty crazy.
5 nominations.
Not a single win yet.
He really does it like.
And he's won at the Guild one, I think.
Okay.
And I think he's won some BAFTAs.
It
Like
deserves...
Dunkirk's won the BAFTA. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Come
that's
on.
fair. Yeah, of course.
Well, yeah, Britain just love British movies, don't they? So that makes sense.
We have to take what we can get.
Exactly. Yeah, so this is the one to beat. It's not my favourite.
What's your favourite?
Interstellar's still my favourite.
Okay.
I don't know.
I didn't actually know that about you.
I could be biased because when I saw Interstellar, it was just such a visceral, emotional reaction I had to the film. I just couldn't. I think it's an experience I'll rarely have again in the cinema.
That's understandable.
So I think that's a cut above for me. And I don't know. I think historical films. I don't know if I get on better if I know more about the subject or not, because I didn't know like any of this.
Okay.
Didn't know any of this.
Well, yeah, that's funny because I actually know a lot about this.
Yes, you know a lot about this. Christopher Nolan, I was listening to an interview, said the people that don't know anything about this might get the most out of it. I can't exactly say I know what he's talking about there, but if he thinks that, maybe he's made that with it in mind.
I guess it's like if you know a lot, you're more likely to cross-reference it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're more likely to pick it apart.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more, maybe it's me personally, but I like to see how these things have been translated. I would be upset with a historical type movie if it skewed the details.
Right, yeah.
So like if I watch something, I'm like, I just know that's not true. Mm-hmm. You know? Whereas with this type of movie, it's more like, you know, I was more excited when I saw them really address things in the right way, and things were like, oh, I'm glad they mentioned that, or I'm
Yeah.
glad this person was featured. Because I really, really, really liked this film. I don't know. I think I'm maybe what you had with Interstellar, although maybe first Nolan, especially first Nolan in IMAX.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, oh, this movie is like just sights and sounds. It's just so, every sort of choice when it comes to like framing and narrative and dialogue and like the actors' choices, but then also what Nolan's told them to do, and I just was like, wow, it felt really good and really like, fascinating and layered. Starting off from the perspective we were just talking about, so I have a degree in history. I have a master's actually in history, and I specialised in my later years in American history, and I actually took a course in nuclear history. I took a course in like the development and the use of the nuclear bomb and its effect on later culture, which interestingly didn't quite talk as much about all this as you'd think. So maybe I'm not going to pretend I'm a specialist, because I only had a couple of lectures realistically about the Manhattan Project, Los Alamos and Oppenheimer. A lot of the other lectures were about the persistent use of nuclear weaponry and following conflicts and how they affect that, and then cultural conflicts as well. My famous fun fact is, did you know that the nuclear bomb directly influenced the invention of the bikini?
Man, why?
The nuclear bombs were tested later in a place called Bikini Atoll, which also was a horrific crime by America, because they basically either forced the local people out or kind of just dropped them too close to the local people and just fucked them up horribly. So that onto the long list of horrible things America's done. But they dropped the bombs on Bikini Atoll, and a Frenchman was like, oh man, like, oh, the bomb's so sexy. The mushroom cloud, it looks like a lady, it looks like a big boobie, oh, small waist, big butto. And he's like, oh, I can design something based on the shape of that. And he named it after the location that they sort of was publicly happening at, Bikini Atoll, which is my favourite spurious fun fact, and that's my justification of having a fucking degree. Because God knows it's not helping me in any other ways.
Well, no, but we don't need to get that now.
But yeah, that's a whole other episode.
That is a whole other episode.
This is
That's the face reveal episode.
How our lives are shit behaviour.
Exactly.
I actually really enjoyed nuclear history, weirdly enough. It was really fascinating, and all of it, but obviously in specific reference to what we're talking about, I did still know a lot. I've read a lot of historiography. Weirdly enough, I also did a course on espionage, and it also talked about this, because it mentioned fucking the guy.
The guy who was at Los Alamos.
The spy.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. Oh, that's
No idea.
terrible. But it talked about the intelligence around Los Alamos, and then the eventual like leaks. It was almost like a sort of a Marvel cameo when that guy shows up, and I'm like,
There's a few.
I know him, Fuchs, Klaus Fuchs. I remember hearing his name, and I'm like, oh, dude, Pog, that's the spy.
That's him.
And like other things, there's a scene, for example, in this one where they talk about the ethics of deploying the bomb. Like, it's post Germany, like the Nazis are off the picture.
Yeah.
And like, do we really want to do this? It's still going to be horrific. And then it's like, well, we're going to stop like an American ground invasion, so have American troops. But then there's like the politics of using it as sort of like a thing for Russia as much as it is for Japan. And that's a very prevailing debate in like historiography, like what exactly motivated the Americans to drop the bomb on Japan.
Just wanted to try it out.
Well, exactly. Like, you have the concrete reason of, well, you laugh, but that's kind of what it was.
I know, yeah.
There is I have read arguments, I have read historical stuff about this, where there are some people who believe they literally dropped the bomb on Japan.
Just because they could.
As a second nuclear test.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people almost refer to it as a second nuclear test, because you have the side of it did stop the ground invasion. They did do the calculations. Yes, they would have lost a lot of men in a prolonged ground invasion in Japan.
Of course, yeah.
But then there's like the idea of like, but they also had this big weapon, and they kind of wanted to just throw their dick around and show it off.
Yeah.
And they also wanted to let Russia know they have it in a way that makes Russia go, oh, dude, we can't mess with them. They've got the big fucking bomb.
The big bomb. Capital A bomb.
I've saw like people who like refer to it sort of casually, that sort of like, oh, it's like a second test because what it showed off for the world. It wasn't just about the war, it was about what it meant to all the people involved. But then I read one particular person who was like, no, blatantly I believe it was a test of the bomb. It was literally, can we kill this many people? It's a wild sort of historical sort of area to wire into. And that's why I really appreciate this movie. It also didn't go ridiculously hard in it, but it really is great at reflecting on the details and also enriching the thematic aspect. You know, it looks at these things and what that means for the characters. Obviously, they're constantly in debate, but you know, is this ethical? Are we going to do this? Like, what's the purpose of this? They're
not in the debate when it's happening though. It's more reflective.
Yeah, of course, they're not really engaging in a debate, but I mean more like it's nice that they're...
No, I mean like I couldn't really tell there was remorse before we did it. There wasn't much trepidation, I didn't think.
What, as in regards to the movie, as in what you're saying, that what you see in
In the lead up to the bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, I didn't see much. We shouldn't really do this. There was a bit.
Well, yeah, I suppose I'll hold you on that. Yeah, maybe I'm implanting my fact that I knew that it was there over the moment we're physically shown. There's a scene where he talks to he goes into the office, mind the scientists are all having that debate without him. And they actively say, like, what's the point in doing this? It's going to cause awful, like, we're going to reveal a terrible weapon, like, the Nazis are already defeated. But yeah, I suppose they only focus on that, and then they focus on Oppenheimer's sort of lax anxiety about it.
Yeah, well, he's more like, in the film at least.
Yeah.
We've built it, it's not ours now.
Yeah, that's a lot of it.
Wash my hands of this.
He's really, it's a really fascinating look because it really doesn't just give him the break. It doesn't just say like, oh man, that's a shame, you know, he was actually a really great scientist and he did this thing because he had to for his country. It does like constantly sort of portray him as like, well, you know what, he never really went far enough in any direction. He was always a bit in and out, and there's maybe more he could have done in certain ways, and he also himself isn't perfect. He fully like...
He's a filthy commie.
I was going to say cheats on his wife.
Does that a few times,
They like reveal at the end of the movie as of a joke that he was also having a completely other affair that we didn't know about. It's like, oh, Oppenheimer, dude.
Bro.
But I thought that was really a brilliant way of doing it because, you know, how do we look at that? Like, did you have any thoughts about that going in? Did you think, this is a movie about the guy who made the atomic bomb? What am I going to feel about the guy who made the atomic bomb?
Nah, I didn't have any feelings about it beforehand, I don't think. Like, one way or the other.
It's maybe not something you would have thought about, to be fair.
Not really, no. I don't know how I feel after it, to be honest, because it's a dramatised version, obviously. I don't know if I'll ever know how he truly felt. At the time, after the time, whatever. But
possible to know without seeing inside their head, I guess.
From the movie, it seemed that he had genuine remorse about the issues that it caused, especially for Japan, and he seemed to truly want to express the weight of the creation to the rest of the world after the fact, but no one wanted to hear it.
Yeah, you pointed out the fact, one of the very sort of nice points I thought, the thing that really was like meaty in the story context was the sort of idea of like, you know, the role of the scientists, we are scientists, we've done this thing, it's now up to them to use it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the heavy hand of the US government. I remember the bit right after sort of the war period where they're gutting Los Alamos. And they're like, well, like, you know, you piss off Oppenheimer, like, we don't need you anymore, you loser. It's like,
yeah.
Shit, like, we've put...
Said by one of the recruiting scientists, he's like, they need us, and he's like, yeah, they need us till they don't.
Yeah, that was one of those really great ones where it's like, shit, yeah, because I wouldn't say the US government's portrayed as like a villain, but they're frank about, like, you know, the US are very like...
Quite efficient, ruthlessly so.
Ruthlessly efficient and very single-minded. I think about the scene with Gary Oldman. That was a surprise cameo for me. I'm like, oh shit, Gary Oldman's in this film as President Truman. And him sort of being like an asshole about it. Like,
I think that's potentially why they refrain from showing the actual bombings in Japan, because Truman's like, it was me, it wasn't you.
Oh, so you because it's an Oppenheimer's perspective, you would say you want to remove the perspective?
Yeah.
Or like anything that's so without the perspective?
Aye, that might be why that's just not shown. And then we see him his reaction to like photos of what happened later, but never actually see the moment, which I think would have been very powerful. I don't know if it probably doesn't fit, to be honest, because the sort of climax of the film dramatically is the Trinity test. Yeah,
I think it's the most energetic moment. It's very, you know, the whole movie sort of leads up to there.
Yeah, that's sort of where it apex is, in my opinion. So to have another nuclear bomb right after it probably wouldn't work as well.
That's a really good point, actually. I think that we'll quickly stop to address a sort of concept and negative, because that's important to note. The one pervading negative, okay, there's two pervading detractors I've seen this, and I'm not trying to just wash away detractors, because I think it's like a really excellent, near flawless movie, but these are things that are interesting to talk about. So first off, just quickly, people said it's too long. We both said it there. I didn't even really notice the length. I think it's wild that like the Trinity test, as you say, is like the dramatic climax, but it's like only like a third into the movie, 2/3 into the movie. There's still a whole other like movie going on.
Yeah, but I think it all builds to that moment.
Yeah, and it's always relevant.
Yes.
And the fact that they've weaved it in out so effectively so far, I think just makes you want to know the resolution to all of it and reach a sort of an emotional climax. And the Trinity test isn't really that, because even though he's got all these anxieties, it's also not just about will it work, but also the general cultural anxieties. So for him just to end it at the bombing would have been like, what was Oppenheimer like after the bombs?
Yeah.
The other one is, so I've seen a couple of people say the movie sort of failed to address the direct victims of the bombing. It's very much how sad is it for Oppenheimer to have done this horrible thing?
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like I agree with that statement. It would only have been enriched by some sort of greater grappling with like the actual people who suffered, the people who get literally fucking vaporized.
Yeah.
But I just can't think of a way that they could have done it in an organic way for the narrative.
Yeah. Well, again, it's sort of Nolan in interviews said that the films mainly focus on two perspectives. So the black and white is like Strauss's view.
Yeah, it's also like the objective. It's like because it's like Oppenheimer's perspective. So I read it was sort of like the colour stuff is Oppenheimer's first person.
Yeah, accounting,
but also still a very subjective.
Yeah, a very coloured view.
Yeah, whereas the black and white stuff is stuff that he's not directly in, but also therefore is sort of an objective view, not tainted by Oppenheimer's opinion on it, because it's not stuff he's directly a part of.
Yeah, so I think to take focus from it would be weird, and I just don't think it needed it because of the singular story they're telling. But it's not to say it wouldn't have been useful. I don't know. It probably was in there at one point maybe, and then cut. Like I have no doubt probably somewhere in there was a scene where Hiroshima and Nagasaki actually you see it, but maybe just thought, I don't know, I need that on like a rewrite or something.
I keep thinking about it. For example, I said to you not long after we watched the movie that I think they should have shown us the pictures that they saw.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of like, I don't know, you watch them all get violently grossed out by it, and there is a bit of a visceral element to that. I kind of like the language of that scene where you watch all them sort of like retching or sort of sobbing horror at it, but like it feels almost too sanitized for the audience. That's it's not so much a problem, but I do on reflection feel that the whole movie almost, it tells you how stressful we are. I think it just, okay, this is weird. I think it's going to have a problem the further we as a culture get away from the dropping of the nuclear bombs, because nuclear bombs are going to become a subjective element until, God for fucking bid, they're used again. I don't want to become a prophetic nightmare, but this movie basically relies on you just acknowledging the nuclear bombs were bad.
Yeah.
But we live in like fucking Scotland in like 2023.
Uh-huh.
The bombs were ages ago. Christ, has it not been nearly like 100 years? The war was like, what, the 30s and the 40s? I can't remember the exact dates of this, but we're like 80 years away from the bombs. We just know they were bad, and that's it. We just told the atomic bombs were bad.
Yeah.
And you can sort of describe it in that, but like, the only way I started to grasp with the horrors of the atomic warfare is like exploring the direct impact, like seeing pictures of like the Hiroshima and Nagasaki and the pure vaporized outlines and the absolute destruction and the accounts of a lot of this is like it took them so many years before they could even just go back into the ruins of the city to like find the dead and all that.
Mm-hmm. So you think Nolan had a responsibility as a filmmaker to bring that forward to the public consciousness about how awful this is? Because he's not trying to be a historian.
Yes, that's exactly. I don't think I would put that on him. I'm just saying the way this movie presents it is very much like the further that we this.
Do you think that's like a more making a historical film? Like you'd maybe put that responsibility put upon you by yourself or people watching it.
I guess it depends on how you're confronting the subject matter. That's what this movie is about. In a lot of ways, the bombs being bad, and this is an atrocious thing. But it's very much from the perspective of Oppenheimer. I guess you can sort of wash your hands and say, no, it's about Oppenheimer, and the bombs are almost ancillary to it. I guess I just think when you're trying to express the sheer horror of a situation that is a real thing that actually happened, the further you try and physically distance yourself from it, so like not showing us things and only just basically saying they're going to be dropped on people, and then it gets dropped on people, like it was really bad that happened to people. Think about this movie in like 20, 30 years when we're even further away from the bombs.
Yeah.
And the more further we get, and the more we have to look at it through the perspective lens of just knowing that something like this is bad. And I'm talking more in the context of how horrible this is. It's like the Holocaust itself. You have to express the sheer horror of an event like this. Because it was truly nightmarishly bad, and it's something that humanity can't ever repeat. Like those who forget history are condemned to repeat it type of thing. And if we just instill the loose concept, oh man, the nukes, they were rough, man. They made Oppenheimer sad and they did some bad things to the Japanese, instead of like, I don't know, but that's why I'm really troubled about this, because I don't know how he would have actually expressed it. I was thinking about the whole showing the pictures things as like, it's visceral, but then I also don't want to glorify the suffering. But I mean, I suppose it depends on how you physically show them. If you just...
They kind of try, because there's the one scene that's like, it's a beautiful scene, it's like a dream scene.
Yeah, he's like hallucinating.
Aye, in his speech, and he sees like flesh melt and people
disappear
into like nuclear explosion.
That's the thing I'll have to take. That whole scene is one of the highlights of the film for a lot of people, and I really enjoyed it as well. And because it's just such a gut, visceral experience. It's such the constant shaking. I'm so unsettled by that scene. Just the constant like earth shakes.
Yeah.
And like the slow growing light and like that person's skin's peeling off. You see like people like sobbing and vomiting and all that.
It's a beautiful scene. It's one of my favourite scenes in the movie.
I can absolutely understand that. I mean, I'd even say it for myself. There's probably scenes I'd go to first, but I can't undercut the strength of that scene on its own. So I guess I'll take that. That's maybe by showing us Oppenheimer's guilt, because it's not the only time they do that sort of thing. By showing us his grappling with it, it does give us an idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, that's also only in like his hallucination.
Yeah.
There's almost something a little man, I'm dreaming about this happening to my friends, and it's like, well, what about the actual people that did actually happen to?
Yeah.
But then, yeah, I don't want to be like a big, like, because, you know, Nolan, you need to do this, you need to have done this. As I say, I think it's just very particular to things like this, where certain horrors need to be expressed in a very specific way. But maybe that's like a weird take. I'm full of weird takes, I am.
Maybe. I don't know, because I kind of get what you're saying, and it makes sense. I think there should be some sort of responsibility. Whether you accept that responsibility and do it is a different thing here.
I guess I wouldn't go against Nolan for not doing it. That's why I'm saying I almost can't even count it as a full negative of the movie, because
Well, it's easier to say after a bad movie.
Shit, yeah.
This movie's really good. So.
And the universe of Oppenheimer was
and
shit.
there is many films who do take that responsibility very seriously, and they tell the Japanese story of those people that live there, and then the fallout, all of that. There's people that have done that.
You know, even if Nolan didn't do it.
Yeah. There is examples of the Holocaust, the nuclear Holocaust being shown straight to your face.
It's true. So yeah, I don't like. I'm not kept up at night about it. I think in these instances, as I say, it's just something interesting to think about in it.
Mm-hmm.
But let's mention. So the actors were all just acting.
They were acting. They were paid to do some acting.
They were. I mean, I feel like they weren't. I think they're ordained by God.
Ordained by God. It is a truly. I don't know what's the word. It's a truly performance from Cillian Murphy here.
Cillian Murphy, yeah, he absolutely fucking slams it. Oh my days! Do you know he was eyed up to play Oppenheimer on like another thing a while ago? I think it was like a 2014 thing for like the BBC maybe or something like that. It was just like another like, let's do an Oppenheimer show or
Man's got the look.
Something.
He's got the look.
He does have quite the look.
Aye, he's a powerhouse.
Is it weird that when I see pictures of Oppenheimer himself, I kind of thought Dane DeHaan would be like fine as Oppenheimer as well. He's got that sort of weird like sunk eye look.
Bit H.P. Lovecrafty.
H.P. Lovecraft, oh my god. But yeah, no, I mean, it's hard to talk about acting in the sense it just isn't there, just really.
Yeah, they're really good. Everyone's spoken about Cillian Murphy being like channeling the actual acting god or something in this film. And he is sort of just, everything he does works, everything he tries works, even if it's like a weird thing that you didn't expect to like see. It just like is fine, and it just happens to work perfectly for this. And I think it's because of like the repartee like him and Nolan have.
Yeah.
Like they just worked so well together for so long now that they've just kind of got that shorthand. It's happened with like, I don't know if you have an example of like Jordan Peele and Daniel Kaluuya just seem to like have this thing, this sort of like telepathic connection.
Where they just know exactly what each other wants,
yeah,
pretty much.
And they just know exactly what's right for the scene at the moment, at the time. And that, I think, is just what's happened here. And it's just sort of incredible to see captured.
Yeah, I'm really happy with this. I don't see Cillian Murphy in enough. Probably my own fault for lack of trying it.
Well, he's not really in enough. He just kind of
he does pick and choose.
Yeah.
I'd like to watch Peaky Blinders.
Yeah.
And I loved him in what I have seen him in. You know, he's good lad, fucking like the Batman movies. I saw a tweet from a friend of mine, Joe Brennan, that this is a movie of like celebrity cameos coming in and giving the single best performance of their careers. And I think that extends to everyone. I think Cillian Murphy absolutely destroyed that. I think I want to talk about Robert Downey.
Right.
So Cillian Murphy, okay, well how do I say this in a way that doesn't sound like I'm disparaging Downey?
Cillian
Murphy is a really good actor, and I knew he was going to be a really good actor, and he's got that repartee with Nolan, as you say.
Yes.
You just know that's going to work. It's Nolan and Murphy. Even if I've not seen those other movies, I know, you know? Robert Downey Jr. Said about this movie, he said this is like that. He was talking about how he's not like sure about himself after like Marvel, and not disservice Marvel, but obviously like Marvel is like, you know, it's a fun comic book superhero movie for the family and that. And this is Downey being like, can I interface with something again and put my heart and soul into it and really give an insanely good performance? And I thought Downey was like the insanely good, like holy shit, he's in there fucking just giving such a layered, moving performance. And I'm not saying I didn't expect from him. I would never disservice him to claim that I didn't think he had it in him, but it's just really refreshing to see, because he's come off of stuff like Marvel and that, where it's like, oh no, he isn't like a prestige film, and he is turning it.
Yeah. I don't know if I don't think I was surprised by the performance, but happy to see it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not upset. I
Pleasant.
knew Downey could do it, but
Yeah.
to see him do it was like, oh, good on you, Robert.
Like, damn.
Get in there and fucking act. Maybe this is something against the movie, but we talked about who's going to get nominated for Oscars, and we said, like, I was like, oh, you know, like, obviously they'll probably nominate like Emily Blunt or Florence Pugh, and
I doubt Florence Pugh definitely won't get nominated for it. Definitely not. She's in like 3 scenes.
those are really good scenes though.
Those are really good scenes. I don't know how. I mean, I think to be nominated for something as Best Supporting Actress, you'd need to be in it for a substantial amount of time.
But would you include Emily Blunt sitting silently in the background during the hearing scenes as screen time?
Yes, I think the Academy would.
I think what we were talking about is, yeah, almost, especially Emily Blunt, I guess. Florence Pugh really was there and did what she was there to do.
Yeah. Florence Pugh will have plenty of times to win an Oscar, right? Don't worry.
God, I know. I saw a thing about, like, someone said, would you watch a Black Widow 2? Like a Florence Pugh-led Black Widow 2? And someone's like, just cut it, like, would you watch like Black Widow? Would you watch a Florence Pugh-led movie? I'm like, yes, I will be there no matter what. Emily Blunt, I mean, I know Emily Blunt's a great actress. I kind of agreed with you when you said, I feel like she isn't in it enough, which is strange. You said this, you said, like, she's not going to get nominated for Best Actress because she's just not quite in it enough.
I don't think. I mean, probably, but I just don't. It's just not like. I just don't think there's a Best Actress.
Oh, so you mean more like in the context? Well, I mean,
Like, there's a Best Actor and a Best Supporting Actor.
aye.
But there's just no female lead to that like extent. I don't think.
Well,
If you were going to nominate someone, it would be
comparison,
her.
like, aye, like Emily
Yeah.
Blunt's like to compare like Emily Blunt to Cillian Murphy, like
Yeah.
obviously Cillian Murphy's in like fucking near enough
The
every
whole
scene,
film.
whereas Emily Blunt obviously has more ones. I think she could still get nominated. I think it's depending on like credited and
She'd
done.
probably be the most likely.
Plus, she deserves it. Like let's make sure to not point out that she was fucking amazing.
Yeah. No one in this movie's bad.
I don't know a single person in this movie. You're right. I really like the scene where Emily Blunt like finally speaks up at the hearing, and it's just like such a fuck yes.
It's just a great scene.
Especially because she does get sort of underlooked and a bit like, not maybe disrespected, but she is very much like, she herself points out the sort of her own frustrations with being relegated to the sidelines, dumping the kids, and so obviously she seems to struggle with alcoholism that throughout as well. So for her to be intelligent and proactive and just really like self-assured and have like a positive impact, it's such a fucking great moment.
She's the only one fighting for the Oppenheimer name.
As I say, after that I load into the cavalcade of other actors and that. Any standouts for you in sort of like the large cast?
The interrogator,
Oh, hang on, sorry.
whose name escapes me.
Sorry, Matt Damon was in this fucking movie.
Matt Damon's in this movie.
I'll quickly say, so I like Matt Damon a lot. I did say, and this isn't a complaint, but he was the one who I felt had to struggle the least because it just felt like Matt Damon in that role. I heard him like, that's just Matt Damon playing a Matt Damon character. He had moments where he was obviously pushed against it, and again, he was a great actor, no bad performances, but I feel like he was the one who was able to just do that role the easiest. I don't know, there's something about it where I'm like, that's just Matt Damon down.
This Matt Damon. I think I've been a bit harsher, but like that's fine. That's
No,
okay.
but I'm not trying to take away, I just mean more like,
I know.
he was the one who was the most suited, like immediately. Like, I'm like, that character, the way he talks, his accent, everything, it just feels like Matt Damon doesn't quite need to struggle the same way that like Irish Cillian Murphy does to play the guy who made the nuclear bomb.
Man.
Matt Damon just needs to be a bit of a silly, stern military guy.
Damn.
That just feels like something Matt Damon is a lot more easily equipped to do. He's probably like, do you know what?
Maybe.
Yeah, I've read the script and I'm in on it, and he did a great fucking job
Maybe.
because he's so well equipped for it. I'm like, it just feels like Matt Damon could have played like. That was a role that Matt Damon could have played, and he played it, and he was great at it because it was like,
Matt Damon walks Oppenheimer. Easy.
oh my god.
Light work, he said.
Yeah, disagree.
No, but like, it's probably harder to do that than we think.
Maybe, I suppose. I mean, being Matt Damon's probably harder than being two fucking
I agree.
white schmucks talking about fucking movies in Scotland. But yeah, so I wanted to address him because I feel like he's also quite a big part compared to some others as well. He's got a lot of real pronounced scenes and great acting moments. That's why I'm trying to emphasise that I'm not wanting to disservice him. I just feel like he was the most closely suited for the role, pretty much.
Right.
A lot of these other ones, I'm like, oh yeah, Cillian Murphy really made the role his own. Like, Matt Damon, I'm like, that just seems enough like a Matt Damon character. Like, I feel like, yep, Matt Damon stepped in that role. He's like, I know exactly what I can do here. I don't need to like press myself ridiculously, other than maybe looking at arm and stuff. I'll leave it there because I don't want to keep looking myself. You know what I'm like? I'll keep talking over myself.
Yeah.
I've made my point. I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it's a takeaway. I just, in my head, I feel like he was the most fit for that.
Right.
He was probably could fit the snuggest into his role.
Okay.
So I just wanted to address that. So yeah, your first one was the interrogator.
Aye.
Yeah. Oh god, why can't I remember that his name? I know the guy. I'm fucking known for looking at. That's annoying. But yeah, the one from the hearing.
Yes.
One that was like a proper like prosecutor.
Aye, he was exceptional in every scene. He just sort of like set the tone every time he was
so
on the
good,
screen.
wasn't he? I really I actually liked him quite a lot, to be fair. I liked the extended sort of cadre scientist that sort of kept coming out at Los Alamos. I liked the guy who played Taylor. I liked the guy who played...
Zafty?
Yes. God, I forgot that was Zafty. I think that's the one who was working on the
Don't know
hydrogen
what
bomb.
brother it is, but it's one of them.
He's... the one working on the hydrogen bomb.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought he was great, and just like he really perfectly played like the line of the fact that by the end of the movie you're supposed to actually realize that he's a bad guy. Like he pushed for the worst bombs, and he ends up being one of the ones to majorly betray Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
But he just sort of really expresses the characters like, here's my perspective and why I'm doing what I do type of thing. And I never... It wasn't until the movie basically looks you in the eye and goes, oh, he was actually a bam. I'm like, oh shit, he was actually a bad guy.
Yeah.
Or like, bad guy. Subjective, I guess. We talked about this, the comedy, this Josh Hartnett.
Josh Hartnett.
So I have no idea who this actor is.
The icon Josh Hartnett.
And Graham and his partner mentioned him, and they're like, oh, Josh Hartnett was in this. And I'm like, I do not know who this guy is, but he's apparently in like a bunch of things. But I actually thought he was really great.
Josh Hartnett's good, guy.
Fucking hated him because he was like the guy who was like, oh, fuck those commies, no unions. And I'm like, you bastard. But like, exactly.
Man, fuck the commies. What are you talking about?
Bro, this movie's supposed to make you guys communism's no just Stalin.
Aye, but
They have a whole
also
scene
just
where they're like, that's just not how it is.
Aye, but it just has never worked though, so like it's fine.
It's because the people who keep doing it are arseholes.
That is dumb.
Be like Oppenheimer, be like, oh man, I've got a passing interest in the fucking philosophy behind it.
Aye, the idea is great.
Don't be like Stalin.
Execution sucks.
Graham is absolutely against Maoism.
I'm big into documentaries. Democracy.
Democracy. He's big into documentaries as well, to be fair.
I am, yeah, you know.
Yeah, I liked a lot of them. It was fun just seeing the ones that would come in and out as well, like Jack Quaid.
Yeah.
You know, like Son
Bongo Boy.
Josh? If you're drinking Josh? Josh Peck, yeah. Because it's Drake Bell.
Yes.
Redacted.
Josh.
Josh, I think his name's...
Josh pushed the fucking button, people.
Josh did push the button. I was funny, he was just in it. I was Josh was using Josh. He did his little role. It was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, man. Drop the bomb, you know, it's easy.
I was talking to you the other day about I love the actor who played Chevalier, who was one of the Lannister twins for House of the Dragon.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, it's good to see him. He's fun. He's doing good.
He's getting work, you know.
He's getting work. But yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could every sort of character that speaks for a decent moment is actually probably like a cameo, I suppose.
Casey Affleck, what's he working on?
Casey Affleck was in this, and then I didn't even know it was Casey Affleck until the movie was done, and it said Casey Affleck. And I'm like, what?
Like actual Chad Casey Affleck, damn.
I was, you know, it really is no matter. Alden Ehrenreich, oh my god. Alden Ehrenreich was like Robert Downey, Louis Strauss's aides, and he was just so good. And
he's having a good year.
He has having a great year. I agree with people who say online, like, Alden Ehrenreich's supremacy, like, he was great in Solo. He get fucking pissed on by Disney, basically. They're like, oh, maybe Solo was a mistake because we had Alden Ehrenreich instead of Harrison Ford or something. Kathleen Kennedy, like, I know I've obviously defended a lot of things she's done and said, but the one thing that I can safely, like, shut the hell up on was, like, she said something about how, oh, we maybe should, like, be careful about recasting legacy characters, and I'm like, bro, people unilaterally agree that Alden Ehrenreich and Donald Glover were, like, fan-fucking-tastic in Solo. They were actually one of the things that's like, yep, great, keep them.
Yeah.
Cocaine Bear, I need to go back and watch Hail Caesar.
Right.
I really like Alden Ehrenreich, and he was just fun and great in this. He had that smug moment of, like, getting, like...
He had a good one, yeah.
Getting one over on Strauss.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. I wanted to, obviously, because it's Nolan, draw attention to the visuals.
Of course.
Little to no CGI was used in this.
None.
Pretty much.
Apart from
I've heard
one.
people say little to none, and it's like, I don't want to say none just in case. I mean, Nolan maybe didn't use straight CGI. He might have had to have used some
thing
SFX for like something, but pretty much none. Like, the explosions were practical. The nuclear bomb blast was practical.
Yeah.
He blew up. Graham, Christopher Nolan detonated a nuclear bomb.
Yes, and you know what? I'm happy he did.
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously I think you're queen. You're queen, Graham.
I'm queen. Let's go.
You're keen on that. I'd say I've never really talked to you about it, but I'd imagine you're quite keen on like the commitment to practical effects.
Yes, it's a thing no one does really, and he gets away with it because he's like premium auteur director, and he's probably like the last of a dying group. Him and like Del Toro, because like they're the only ones brave enough to kind of do it. I don't know why it's brave to do it because it worked for 100 years, and now it's just like, oh, we'll just do it CGI, and it'll look shit, and it'll look cheap, and it won't be real. As
cost effectiveness becomes like more in the favour of CG, and like they can like replace things and make
like they can say this, but
to be fair,
80s horror movies look great And it's people making costumes for like 50 quid.
And we hear a lot
Out of,
about
like,
how the
rubber
effects
and
budgets
shit.
are like so big.
Yeah.
There's some things where I'm like, there's things you realistically can't just do it. I mean, Marvel maybe have an issue with overusing it, but there's a lot of times where I'm like, I get why Marvel did it. Like, for example, you can't practically do the quantum realm. I mean, would Christopher Nolan try and shrink us to the microverse?
He could, yeah.
I think he could do it.
I think if anyone's like capable, it's him. Yes.
Pretty much.
Definitely.
I guess like James Cameron gets the credit. Like, Avatar is probably like the best case for CG.
Yes. There's like always exceptions to the rules. I think the rule should be, if it can be done practically, you should aim to do it until it becomes literally unfeasible for it to happen.
I'm pretty much there. I think I accept CG a lot more depending on maybe the context. I always looked at it through the famous Star Wars, and you know, we went from like extreme use of practical and then cutting edge digital effects, but like even cutting edge digital effects for like the original trilogy of Star Wars was different from like
Avatar.
Yeah. Then you get the prequels, who, you know, whether we can talk about them being good or bad, were obviously lambasted for the overuse of CG, which maybe didn't always land. And then how the new movies were obviously quite, you know, no matter what, they were given the credit for like, oh, they really went back and they really tried to engage with practical really much where they can.
Credit to those films, I'd say.
I think it definitely does work. You can really tell they're on those locations. I always love looking at, I talked to you about this the other day, I love the behind the scenes of the scene where Luke destroys his hut in Last Jedi, where it's like they literally had an entire hut built on like strings, and like when Luke blasts the Force, it, like the strings pull them all away. Like they had a physical hut that came apart, and seeing the behind the scenes, because it's actually really cool to see the effects in action, and it's really cool to see how they did it.
Right.
I have an interesting sort of question on this. So, would you think Mission Impossible and Christopher McQuarrie?
What?
Well, so you're talking about like the emphasis on practical effects and that.
Yeah.
How do you think those movies look? Because they obviously do have to use some stuff, but then again, also Tom Cruise is out here on the Burj Khalifa.
Yeah, it's a good melding. Dead Reckoning, which I saw recently, there's one kind of big stunt, and all the other stunts are like good action stunts.
Okay.
And all the other ones, there's like one or two maybe that are bigger, but that's the one that's like melded most with CG. And I can't, like, seeing it looked fine, but I like know what it looked like when they were filming it, so it was like hard to differentiate really. I could be like, oh, I know what that is now, but seeing it on the screen still looked fine. And it's not like they're far enough away, so it doesn't really, you don't really notice it. It's when you get like super close to it and you can immediately like see the lines between it, and like you can tell that's just not real what I'm looking at.
I think I really.
But like him climbing the Burj Khalifa, like that's a dedicated, like him on the side of that plane in Ghost Protocol Rogue Nation. He's literally on this side of the plane.
Do we give Christopher McQuarrie the credit, or do we have Tom Cruise be like, Chris, I'm climbing the Burj Khalifa?
Well, most of the time it's Tom Cruise going like, I want to do this stunt.
Let's
do this stunt.
We'll make it work, Tom. Whatever. I don't fucking care.
There's a funny moment on one of Graham Norton's interviews with him when he's like, oh, I went to the guy and I was like, oh, I want to climb the Burj Khalifa. And the guy went, that's not possible. So I fired him, got a new guy in. So that's what Tom Cruise does, which I love.
Basically, Tom Cruise makes the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah, exactly.
Christopher McQuarrie's just there. I suppose I say Mission Impossible. Obviously, multiple directors, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I that's a really good way of looking at it, because I've always said I can stand it a bit more CG, but I guess, you know, when you're in the face with a movie like Oppenheimer, you really can't, like, goddamn, you know, they're right. These things look exceptional.
Yeah.
And also the knowledge that they're real is as powerful as seeing physical real things. Like all the explosive effects and all the stuff, even the little like pure hallucinations and the little visualizations of like explosive stuff that you see. I'm like, they are real. Christopher Nolan did that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is like just trippy, and it's like, how did they even create this? How did Christopher Nolan do this?
It's just fantastic teamwork, like on all fronts. Just everyone involved.
Yeah, he's got such a great production team, cinematographer, like production design, but like also like his effects team for these people. The people are like, oh, well, we're just gonna make a bomb. We're just gonna make the nuke. I want to know what that conversation was like. Him going up to like his pyrotechnics team, for example, and like, how do we do a nuclear bomb?
Months of planning, probably. Might have took like a year to get it. Probably only had one shot. No, probably didn't have one.
They must have not done multiple shots.
Maybe they had a few. I don't know.
Maybe they actually went out to Los Alamos and made their own nuclear testing site.
I think they did.
I was going to say,
I don't know if it was Los Alamos, but they definitely built like the town, and then they built the Trinity test.
Well, I mean more like to do their own nuclear bomb, like we're actually doing nuclear bomb testing.
We're actually doing it.
Radiation-free, movie-safe nuclear bomb.
Let's go.
Oh, that's
probably need to change the distances. There's a bit more research on it now.
That's true. I was going to say we're
probably what a bit close. Now. Yeah.
I love that idea, like, we have to go and represent this how it was back then, completely devoid of all the shit we know now, all the horrible things we know now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to also, just quickly, before we cap, I always do this right at the end, but just music. Ludwig Göransson once again displays that he is one of the modern greats of composing.
Uh-huh.
The score in this was guttural, it was unsettling, but it was like so magnetic and poetic and very beautifully scored everything that's going on. And I just want to give Ludwig Göransson praise and sing his songs because, again, he just gets given a movie with a completely different theme and genre. He's like, fuck it, it's done, I've done it.
Damn.
Even the people I like Michael Giacchino, other than like Doctor Strange and Star Trek, where they literally just used the same song again, Michael Giacchino is fantastic, one of my favourite composers of all time, but all his like superhero type music, except the Batman, feel similar. Like his Spider-Man theme and his Marvel theme and his Doctor Strange theme, they all feel similar in a lot of ways.
Right.
Maybe because you've got genre similarities, but then again, you got Batman and his Batman score is fucking sublime, but it's also so unlike anything I'm used to. Ludwig Göransson just feels like a different composer each time. When you show me the Black Panther score and the Turning Red score and the Fruitvale Station score and like the Oppenheimer score, I'm like, these are completely different. The guy has grasped a completely different way of doing an oral musical language, and he's just like, easy, done, what next?
Yeah.
Like, what's he up to next?
Okay, damn, man.
So I just want to give him his praise. I thought it was fantastic. It's not my favourite one of his scores.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of unique things I can pull out, but as part of the movie experience,
yeah,
it perfectly adds to it.
Damn, man.
I did really like, maybe this isn't so much Ludwig, but I almost like the trailer, the foot stamping effect. You know, the foot stamping effect.
Yeah.
That was there from like the earliest trailers, and it was so unsettling and so, it would always get fascinating. Like, what is that? And it was so droning, and like to go through the movie and you hears the drums on that, and to go through to that, obviously that had fantastic scene. It's him being celebrated for something that he despises.
Yeah.
It's him being lauded and praised for something he immediately is regretting as much as possible. And the emotion of that was like a great sound. Like, sound design is a better way of putting it. Sound design in movies off the bloody chain.
Yeah.
What did you feel when the bomb blew up?
Man, it's a scene, bro.
I mean,
like I say, that's the genuine dramatic climax of the entire film. And I don't know how you film a nuclear explosion, but if we're gonna do it, that's probably it.
I love the pulling back perspectives, like the bunker getting hit with the sound wave first, and then like the guys who were like slightly closer, and then you get to like the guys who were far enough away that they only just heard it, like in the distance.
Yeah.
The silence, and then the jet.
Fantastic.
The big like, it just. Whoa, I remember my whole body being like,
glorious. Man, if you think like this score's good, like Interstellar's is much better.
Yeah, no, I can't even pretend. I mean, Interstellar, I know the song that's like on all the TikToks and that, and it's just a good song. Inception.
Inception had music in it. I don't remember Inception.
Inception, the song goes,
it's a fever dream, yeah.
Do you remember a bit that goes,
in every trailer ever?
Yeah, I think it was a success. I think it was an around the world just sublime movie experience.
Yup.
I'm so happy.
It's the second best IMO.
Oh, so you're like, Interstellar's my favourite, but holy shit, Oppenheimer's there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's the best of the ones I've seen. And I've only seen the Batmans and Memento and Inception.
And Interstellar?
And Interstellar, obviously, yeah.
And Oppenheimer?
And Oppenheimer.
Hey, don't downplay yourself. That's like 7 movies. I've seen 3. I've seen the Batman.
Well, yeah.
It's better than Batman Begins.
Oh, man, and that's a fucking good movie.
It's a good movie. I don't like it as much as a lot of other movies, but
man,
it's like
so
a good movie.
you think it goes 2-3-1, probably?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Man.
If you caught me on a day when I was high on crack, I'd
3-2-1.
I'd say 3-2-1, which is like insane. But I have a lot of good memories associated with Dark Knight Rises, so there's like internal bias.
I like Dark Knight Rises.
That was great. It was severely underappreciated at the time. Absolutely phenomenal film.
Good time, man.
But yeah, I mean, 2 is just literally perfect. Like that's nearly a flawless film in a lot of ways.
Man, he's good at making flawless movies, this guy, isn't he?
Yeah, Christopher Nolan just goes in that fucking kitchen and he cooks a motherfucking film.
I do think he's I mean, I'll say I'm glad he's not going to retire after 10.
Oh yeah, aye. We do have the upcoming.
I think he's made 10 already, so I can have it done.
That's the point.
Aye, but I'm glad he's not going to retire anytime soon.
By the way, Oppenheimer was my last.
Oh, fuck, man. What a way to go.
We need to see how that pans out with Tarantino. Jeez.
Yeah, because they're like the last ones, and I like the way they make movies. I don't want them to stop.
You're going to start crying. Tarantino, Scorsese's probably going to have to stop talking soon.
Oh, he is, isn't he? It's okay. I'll just watch their movies again.
I'm going to ask a question that's terrible for a cinephile to ask. Is Francis Ford Coppola dead?
I think so.
Sofia Coppola's film's coming out soon.
She makes movies.
She does make movies.
I've only seen one, I think.
I've only seen Sofia Coppola once, and it was in The Godfather Part 3.
And do you know what?
And do you know
She was
what?
just fine,
Wasn't that
wasn't she?
bad.
Do you know what? I would have preferred Winona Ryder, but
I would have preferred one, absolutely.
just that's what we got in
This
it.
is actually before we need to watch the Coda cut. I've got the 4K steelbook of the Coda
It's
cut.
got the Coda cut.
So we need to watch that. I'm keen on that.
We need to do it.
I may rewatch them all again. It was me and one of the first major successes of our film rewatchings, or
Yes.
watchings in general, just as friends watching, having movie night, was The Godfather. And
Yes.
The Godfather's like one of my favourite movies of all time, Godfather 1 and 2.
It's one of the ones that if you said it to anyone, they would not be mad at you.
I think Godfather 1's like a perfect film. Although there's a really great Family Guy bit, which is a sentence I'll never say again in my life, where like they're like about to drown, and Peter's like, I'm just gonna come out and say it, I did not care for The Godfather.
Oh,
And like everyone in the family like breaks character and drowning. Like, what do you mean? Like Lois is like, what do you mean you don't? It was a great film. And like Chris is like fighting. He's like, oh, it's a great film, you know, like Marlon Brando. You know?
yeah.
I feel that way.
I mean, there's not 2 could be better, man. Who knows? It's one of those ones where the sequel genuinely is as good, if not better, than the original.
Yeah, I think it's a rare occurrence, but it's when they hit, they hit.
Yes.
Because when they hit, it's usually like really like holy shit, it was a really good film, and then the second one got even better.
Yeah.
Although maybe there's others and we just don't remember the less successful. Like, the first one was alright, but the second one,
Oh.
Kung Fu Panda. I mean, okay, not to display Kung
I
Fu
think
Panda
I've
1.
seen 2 or 3.
You've
I don't
not
even
seen
know.
Kung Fu Panda 2?
Don't think so.
Kung Fu Panda 2 is insanely good. Gary Oldman is a fucking peacock, and he's like a great villain, and Poe goes through like some great shit, and it's so like layered in the storytelling and the visual department. Kung Fu Panda 1 is good. It's a great like DreamWorks movie. Kung Fu Panda 2 is like one of the best animated movies ever made.
Damn, man. I mean, there's the obvious answer, which is Shrek 1 and 2.
Oh yeah, I mean,
They're just,
Shrek
like,
2 is just
Immediately
miles better than 1.
but 1's also still great.
1 is quite good. I don't give Shrek enough credit. Talk about a movie that doesn't yet have sequels.
Probably will.
Probably will. According to a tweet today by Mattel, that they were very interested in exploring.
They're interested in exploring movies about their figures, right?
About their...
Am I correct in
Yeah, let's
assuming
quickly
this?
mention that Mattel have got like licenses out to make movies out of every fucking toy property they own.
I think it's going to go poorly.
I think it's going to go poorly. I think it's not like... I like the gusto. I think the only thing that maybe show promise is if they keep doing what they've been doing so far, which is like, don't put their hand in it. So like, I mean, Daniel Kaluuya's like, I'm going to do a Barney movie. It's going to be an adult. It's going to be an A24 adult.
It's going to be white. It's going to be weird.
It's going to be weird. Vin Diesel's like, oh, I'm going to make a Rock and Sock and Robots movie. I'm the robot. You know?
The movies.
Fucking J.J. Abrams is doing a Hot Wheels movie.
Let's go.
And then the day the list was like Uno, Thomas the Tank Engine, Masters of the Universe.
That could be fun.
Masters of the Universe could be fun if they do it right. Did they not cancel a Masters of the Universe property recently?
They had a cartoon on Netflix, I think. Kevin Smith directed it.
Oh no, it was the live action show on Netflix.
Was that?
Pretty sure it was that.
Kevin Smith was involved, I think, somewhere.
I thought he was involved in the current, like, the proper animated show that was doing.
Don't know, man. He's involved somewhere in Masters
I'm
of the
not
Universe.
even in that cycle at all, but the He-Man is not even on my radar.
Nah, it's before our time.
Pretty much. Although, I mean, I engage with, like, fucking G.I. Joe, so maybe one day I'll circle around on He-Man.
Yeah.
But, yeah, this is led, of course, at the top of the list, leading the charge, the bright shining pinnacle, is Barbie.
It's Barbie.
We went to the 6 o'clock showing. No IMAX for Barbie,
No,
unfortunately.
no IMAX for her.
Oh, Graham.
What?
Graham, what did you think of Barbie?
I did not like this film.
Oh, he's coming out with I did not like this film!
I've turned up to your Mojo Dojo Casa house and said I don't like the colour of the wallpapers.
Oh my god! Oh, I can't believe you would say that in the podcast. I can't believe you would say that publicly. Oh, I fucking love this movie so much.
Why?
Why do I love this movie? I think this movie is...
Explain it to me.
And I think it's a brilliant movie. I think it's a very good movie. First off, I want to just say Barbie is everything.
Right.
And I think they took that to heart with the marketing. I think no one knew what this movie was going to be up until we were in the theatre.
Pretty much, aye.
You know, when we were in the cinema, there were trailers for like the next...
Until we got out of Barbie Land, I didn't know what this movie was going to be. And then it was pretty obvious what it was going to be.
And the trailers for this movie were like Girls Trip and Strays, that like adult like dog movie with swears in it. And then also like
looks great.
Disney's Wish.
Yeah.
So it was like, there's going to be kids in the audience like hearing a dog go, I'm going to buy this cock off. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck? I love that. And I love that this movie was just like, it was like an energy experience. It was like Greta Gerwig was like, I have this concept.
There was Kenergy, I can't lie.
There was Kenergy, there was absolutely Kenergy. There was Kenergy through the roof.
There was lots of Kenergy.
I think she was like, I have this like, I know what I'm going to say, and I'm just going to like allow it to become an experience.
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say Mattel clearly just let her go. Maybe they had some things you had to do, but
Yeah.
I mean, the way that Mattel itself as a company is like almost slandered in this movie. You're surprised that Mattel are like, yeah, we endorse this.
Yeah.
Talk about how we're like all run by men and we're not really the best for women and we have big grey evil offices where everyone's miserable.
Yeah.
Why did I like this movie? I like this movie because it was a visual experience unlike anything else. It was a fascinating engagement with the source material. The way in which they took Barbie as a concept, Barbie as a toy, Barbie lore, like the different Kens, the different Barbies, Midge, Alan,
Yeah.
all discontinued Barbie figures.
That was cool.
The way they maintained the toy aesthetic for the Barbie set of stuff, like
Yeah.
having showers that have no water coming out of them, having like cups of drinks that have got no liquid coming out of them.
That was good.
How they maintain a concept of a toy lore, excellent. The actors, oh my god, are they acting? Ryan Gosling has reached some spiritual, emotional nirvana. This movie. Ryan Gosling is took on a different being at this point.
Oh god.
Margot Robbie is just one of the national treasures of cinema at this point. Margot Robbie is, I feel we still don't appreciate her enough. I feel we need to appreciate her more.
What? I just not appreciate her
I
enough.
know, but we just need to say nicer things about her. We just haven't said enough nice
But
things
we
about her.
know she's great.
I Tonya, Harley Quinn.
I should get snubbed for I Tonya. She's the one that got Oscar for that.
Fucking so she snubbed for I Tonya so badly. Oh my god, everybody who's like, again, like the Christopher Nolan cameo circus, this one's like, oh, everyone who they brought in for like that one Ken or that one Barbie. Oh, and like, I think what the movie went to say was good. I think I want to tiptoe through like fucking social and politics and shit. And I'm just going to come out and say it. The movie is fucking big on like feminist message and it's big on like fucking, do you know what? In the current age, it's shit for women in a lot of ways and it's really beneficial for men in a lot of ways. And the movie stated these things in no uncertain terms. And I believe that, like, I think we need that. I think we need movies like this to fucking gateway us into it. I think we need firm, emphatic statements to make you think about it. I think Graham's doing the fucking Mr. Burns excellent. He's not. He's like doing the little like I've got thoughts. I don't think the movie itself says though like, oh man, all women are suffering and all men are fucking terrible. The movie's just like, by the way, this is a situation that exists in the world which is bad. The movie gives plenty of like leeway to like, for example, the male characters like they're big like Ken's. I mean, this is spoilers for Barbie. Ken's pretty much like the villain by the end. But the movie doesn't explicitly just say like Ken did a patriarchy and patriarchies are bad because men are bad and men are bad at women. It did like a whole thing about like the concept of the patriarchy has poisoned us as people and we have created and sustained sort of a terrible situation for everyone. Like there is men at the top who are causing issues, but there's also men at the bottom who are just fucking dumb incels and like people who don't really know what they're doing with themselves, and it's a horrible, unsustainable situation and women catch the brunt of it. And that's a big message that it was stated in no uncertain terms. And I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, fucking yes, good. America Ferrera is exceptional in this movie. She just gives such an excellent, like, just bang, bang, bang dialogue. And I know you're like, he's seething. And, but then also I think it's very demeaning to say that that's all the movie's about. Because it's also about just the concept of what does a person do with themselves? Like, where do they fit in a situation? You know, like Margot Robbie's Barbie doesn't understand where she fits in because she has no like designated purpose. But then she's like, do you need a designated purpose? Do you need to find a purpose? Is living itself a purpose in itself? Ken's the same. Ken's like, the resolution of Ken's thing isn't just like fucking stop being an incel. It's Ken suffering because he can't identify himself because he only sees it through his lens of that predisposed you need to be for Barbie. So it's like Ken needs to like stop being there for Barbie and learn like what he's about as well. It says a lot about that. And it looked really cool, and all the music was great. All the songs were great. Charlie XCX, Extreme Speed Drive by Charlie XCX, Extreme Barbie World by Ice Spice and Nicki Minaj.
Young Money,
Nicki Minaj, Justin. It was great. It was great. I loved watching it.
the songs were good, I felt like.
Oh, there you go. We've got them.
The songs were good.
Right, okay. I've had my rant.
Oh my god, no.
It's your turn.
Oh, fuck. I don't even... man, I cannot summon the strength because I feel like you're just going to shout at me.
No, do you know what? I will emphatically promise you, I will not shout at you. We're going
Right.
to turn down. I've had a rant, you can have a rant.
It's not a rant, it's just my opinion, I swear.
Oh. Yeah, I'm not going to shout. I can maybe debate later, but say your piece. You've got the floor. Just why did you not like the movie?
Why did I not like the movie? Well, I'll say what I did like first, right?
Like, absolutely.
Start positive, okay? The licensed music is great. That's one of the positives. Even though I've heard it like on the radio working up to it, and that normally like turns me off of it because I'm like, oh, it's overplayed now. But I really like all the songs that are in it.
I think Billie Eilish's song's really good. I never really gave that enough credit.
Like I like it, but I think this is more like a Billie Eilish critique. I think she's just like too samey now. Like every song is very heady, like. Do
you know what?
You know, everything sounds like that to me now.
I will say Billie Eilish's song is really good and really moving, especially how it's used in the movie. But it also does sound like a couple of Billie Eilish songs.
Yeah, so that's more a Billie Eilish critique than the actual Barbie.
I think Speed Drive by Charlie XCX is fantastic.
Yes, that was cool. It was a good scene to use it in as well.
Yeah.
The acting, I can't fault. Margot Robbie, as we know, one of the best actresses of our generation. Ryan Gosling, as we know, I'm him, literally.
It's literally me. Graham, did you know I was in this movie?
I saw you, bro. I saw you there.
Were you in the movie?
I think I was there, yeah.
Graham was in the movie. Literally him. Literally me.
Yes. Ryan Gosling, one of my favourite actors of all time, is acting his ass off. He's having a great time. Every actor is doing their best, and their best is great, right? What they're saying, I don't like. I don't disagree with your message at the end there about Barbie's journey of self-exploration, because she is generic Barbie and she does have to struggle with that at the very end of the film. I just think it swooped in at the end to give you that, because after 30 minutes of this movie, it just became man-hate to me. And I personally don't think there's a patriarchy, right? I don't think that's a thing that's existing, right?
Oh yeah, we're getting cancelled, bro.
I don't think that exists, okay? I think we've all got it pretty bad, right? Maybe some more than others, but I don't think that necessarily means there's a patriarchy running everything. I think that view and stance this took on like me as a male of the species felt very targeted, and I'm not happy with it.
As someone who liked Zack Snyder's Justice League.
As someone who liked Zack Snyder's Justice League, that jibe did not need to be in there, because we all know a baby could watch Zack Snyder's Justice League and say, that was better than Whedon's cut, wasn't it, bro? And would agree, because he's right.
I did feel a bit targeted by the one they were like, oh man, a way to distract our kids to like ask about his favourite movie, and it's like it's the Godfather. We've already, without even thinking about it, we've already just sat and talked about the Godfather.
Because we know film bros love the Godfather.
It's one of Coppola's best.
Yeah. I don't really know how to explain the feelings, because I'm not smart like that. I think Greta Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, who are a good writing team, they're married, so they have like an intimate understanding of each other's work. I just don't agree with what they're trying to say in this film, I think. And they could just be like super smart and I'm not getting it. But what I have got from it, I don't like. So I don't really know where to go from there. I don't really know where to go from there.
Well, I disagree with you on multiple levels.
On all the ones that are important.
All the ones that are important. This is very heady for scenes. We're
getting into it.
That are very... I don't believe you're like a big woman hater or something.
I don't hate women. I quite like women, personally.
Dating a woman?
I've dated a woman.
I know at least 3 women.
Like... I know at least 3 women.
And I'm obviously
my mother's a woman. I'm the son to her, right? As Will Ferrell spoke.
No, I don't pretend to be the expert on account of
the females in the audience.
Pillar and stones hanging between my legs and my personal choice to identify with the pillar and stones. I think it's an issue of perspective. And I don't think I'm going to sit here and convert you to a fucking bleeding heart liberal cuck. But I just think, so, this is going to sound like wild. This is going to sound absolutely fucking insane. But the movie that basically gave me like a bit of a shake up to how I view things about this was fucking Captain Marvel. Right? I watched Captain Marvel and I'm like, I really enjoyed that. That was cool. And then I somehow, probably just because I was in the MCU sphere, stumbled into some reviews and women talking about it specifically from their own perspective. So it wasn't just like, oh, Taylor's was cool and I liked the music. It was like, oh, by the way, as a woman, I'm doing reading of this because of the things that I've experienced separate. Captain Marvel, they were talking about, like, and yeah, okay, we can have shared experiences, but the more frequent and common experience of, like, they were saying in Captain Marvel, it's very sort of relevant how she goes through this whole situation of being manipulated and gaslit and it believing in one particular thing by a predominantly male figure. And the movie's about her sort of experience of, like, self-discovery, sort of self-actualization, rejecting the sort of fabricated reality she's been sort of duped into, sort of linking with her female friends. She's got Monica, like, strength and sort of solidarity. And I remember I read that and I'm like, I don't really get that. But then for some reason, that was the time when I clicked and I said, I don't really get that, but like, maybe I'm not really supposed to.
I'm not saying I need to.
I'm not saying
Brie Larson said Tomorrowland is not for 40-year-old white men. And that's fine, because movies need to be made for everyone. This movie is just not for me.
But then
And I don't think it's for men.
I spite that comment. I don't think movies need to be made for everyone.
No, not like for the general populace. I mean, everyone should have a movie. Like,
Right, yeah.
like Predator's not for women probably, but I love Predator because I'm a big man and I like muscles, right?
I don't think that's explicitly. I think this is where your perspective is just coming. I'm sure women love big
They
muscles.
probably do, but it's not as much as the men that like Predator.
See, I disagree.
You maybe do.
I think because
What are the numbers?
You're,
What are the numbers on
What are
that?
the numbers?
How many
I
women
love
are
the
seeing Barbie?
numbers.
How many men are seeing Oppenheimer? I need to know.
See up in Barbie.
I need to know.
I think this is. I get like the pushing that, but as in an enlightened society, what we need to understand is that men and women fundamentally should be viewed pretty much exactly the same, right?
But we're different.
Yes, but we're only as different as we make them.
How do you
I
mean?
acknowledge the difference in men and women in terms of concrete things that we need to be concerned about. For example, I don't have a risk as a fucking biological, like, assigned male at birth who identifies as a man. I don't. This is a fucking wild tangent. I don't, like, personally. I'm not at fucking risk of cervical cancer because I don't fucking have a cervix.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
So that's obviously a difference.
Yeah, that's off table. Yeah.
But I don't sit here and I think, oh, fucking, do you know what? I love Predator. Predator's a man's movie. It's a fucking man-sized movie. If I go into a room and a woman's like, oh, dude, Predator was fucking cool, I'd be like, hell yeah, Predator was fucking cool.
Yeah.
And that being said, though, contrarianly, if a movie takes a stand, like, nothing about Predator takes a stance of like, oh man, do you know what? Men. It's just a bunch of men in a jungle. And I get the concept of like it's a manly slant, but that like just presenting things that we as a populace just perceive to be manly versus Barbie saying emphatically feminist messages. Like, I have an emphatically feminist approach and I'm directly speaking to the female experience. Those are two different things to me. And I think movies like this, as you say, movies should be for everyone. So that's good. Women should have a movie where they can concretely express the fucking frustrations of living. I mean, you said to me, and I'm not going to call you out, but I just want to point out, you said to me that you found it a bit much, like sort of some of the more emphatic statements.
Yeah, it was preachy to me, yeah.
Right, you thought it was a bit preachy, and you think that's anti-man, but that's...
No, the preachiness isn't, it's what they're saying.
What do you mean?
That they're saying, like, it's just, like, they run us into the ground, they literally just hate us.
But then you're not engaging with the text other than that. Like, the version of the patriarchy example in this movie is like the concept taken to an extreme by a fucking toy.
Yes.
In the actual experience of the real world, in a shades of grey, Ken goes to a fucking hospital and he's talking to a doctor, and the fucking
it's a
doctor's
woman.
And he's like, oh, well, surely a man should be a doctor. It's like, well, no, it's not quite like that. The patriarchy isn't the Illuminati. The patriarchy is more just that, like, we as a society have ingrained this concept and it fundamentally trends into disenfranchising women over men. I'm not saying to you that you're out there like denying jobs for women and furthering the wage gap, but like just looking at the bigger picture scale, women make less than men. We can take steps to make it better, but until there's just flat equal wages, that's just how it is. And even if you're like not consciously like, well, I don't like actively think I hate a woman, these things just end up unfortunately happening, or they end up happening because they were intended to happen.
But like, there's loads of factors as to why that gap might be a gap.
You can say that, but then if you look at the numbers and then it's just like, well, okay, Diane and Bob both work a fucking shift and Diane makes $3.75 and Bob makes $4.
Is it the same job you're looking at?
Well, they have done analysis on that, yeah.
Right.
I've seen some studies that are unfortunately a bit flawed, where they do miss out.
Aye, because if like just CEO and she's fucking working the tills, there's going to be a difference there.
Nobody's going to fucking compare that.
Aye, but I'm saying like that could be what's skewing it.
The people will and put that in, but that's deeply unfair to like
to
the
both
people
sides
doing this.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
And I've read plenty of studies that are actually no, this is just like fucking like categorical numbers across like the breadth of. Another thing is like the actual presence of women in the jobs, which is the movie directly is like, yeah, I don't know what Mattel's current board of directors is like. Maybe there is women in there, hopefully, but it's not wrong that there is all this unfortunate constant instance of like.
But there's like so many factors that could be. Maybe women just haven't applied for the job. Maybe there is no one genuinely qualified enough to be in that position. Maybe there was, but they've had to leave something. Maybe this guy has worked his whole life and he's got to that position and now we're tearing him down because he's a guy.
There is a level of that, but see, unfortunately, there's not like a discriminatory aspect to that when you also need to consider like different perspectives. I do think that the system is like fucked up like that. But the problem is, you're saying like women aren't applying for this. We don't really know the breadth of like how are women not getting to this position.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Women
there should be many different steps.
Reach that level.
Aye,
like,
but that again, there's so many factors that we could never know.
that's completely understandable if you want to look at the minutiae. The problem is I think that by looking at the minutiae, that just means that the grander narrative is less relevant. These things are just still obliquely true. That men often
Are in position of power.
are in position of power. Women are often prevented for it. There's often women are paid less.
Prevented
and you
from
can
it.
say it's completely possible. I mean, there's just
It's
multiple
possible, but I
recorded
don't know if
instances
it's...
of fucking, well, I wouldn't hire her because she's a woman. People complain women can't do this, women can't do that. There's literal constant fucking recordings throughout history where we can't let women into government because women are hysterical.
But
They'll have a
listen,
baby and then launch the nukes.
Today,
But the point
is today better? Yes.
Yes.
Do I think it's a patriarchy?
But that's the thing. You think patriarchy is a thing? You think patriarchy is
That's what the movies tell me it is.
No, the movie's saying the patriarchy is a concept and it's exploring it through the vehicle of a fucking toy is patriarchy is horses and men ruling everything. You're taking it, a subjective concept, literally, even though the movie's basically trying to use a literal concept to try and enlighten you to it. It's trying to make you think about it, and you're only thinking about it, well, I don't think it's real, and the movie's too silly.
I don't think it's real.
You think there's not a patriarchy building. The Department of Patriarchy down the road's not real.
That's not real, aye.
It's a framework through which you understand the generalised issues.
But I don't agree with the frame, because I don't think the frame is real.
But see, then we have to get down to the brass tacks of you and I don't fucking suffer.
Well, no.
You say oh man, I don't think there's an issue with women. I've got my own problems. Women probably have their own problems, but the problem is we don't go through the same shit that women go through. That's the thing that fucking American Ferrera was talking about in this film. We don't go through the shit like that. I don't fucking get the pressure of body weight. The only person who puts the pressure on my body weight is me, because I just fucking wish I was thinner. But women have to actually fucking deal with these things on a concrete term, and whether it's on occasion or not, it's just a thing that they have to deal with, either completely in spite of, randomly, or just on a persistent, pervasive basis. Do you know what I mean? When I hear women tell me I have experienced this, and it's a thing that's you think maybe sexual harassment, for example, theoretically it could happen to men, and it does,
but it's much less.
Fucking absolute abject fraction of the amount, and I still care about both.
Yeah.
Both's terrible, but when a woman literally is fucking telling me this, and these aren't just conceptuals, this is by the way, this happened, this happened, this happened, and this happened. I'm well, fuck, that's never once in my entire life happened to me.
Yeah.
And I don't have any reason to believe it ever will, to be quite frank.
Yes.
I don't want to just say it's not for us and leave it at that. I think it
isn't, right? And I just don't think it will be for me. There's
it won't be for you as long as you don't let it be for you.
I'm trying, man.
And I'm not saying it needs to be a movie for you. It's just, when I see movies like this, where maybe the actual concrete lived experience is something I can fully relate to, I instead have to look at what are they trying to tell me though. And that's why I'm really sort of big on this movie, because it's well, okay, for the people who don't actually know what this is or experience it, listen to us talk. And I don't want to accuse you. I wouldn't say you're hates women or bam and anything like that. I do want to just make sure that you're not just, I don't get it, so I don't like it. You know what I mean? They're telling you this. They're having to make a movie where America Ferrera looks in the camera and says, this is why it's hard to be a woman. And you're going, well, I just don't think it's that bad though.
No, I'm not saying it's not hard to be a woman. I'm just saying I think they went too hard the other way.
But how?
I don't know, man. It didn't feel right for me. I didn't like it.
Because they made a joke about Zack Snyder's Justice League.
That hurt. That definitely hurt. That knocked 5 points off.
I love that. I fucking laughed hard at that joke.
That hurt.
Me too. Fuck those guys.
Aye, that hurt, but not much.
I can't change heaven and earth here, and I don't want to come off as myself a preacher, but I'm really absorbed these days, and just, I don't know, maybe I'm #woke, but actually what woke means, as in being aware of socio-political issues and not a right-wing buzzword because Ben Shapiro didn't like seeing a fucking nipple.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel what's the point of me feeling it was preacher? It didn't really apply to me.
I don't know if there's a point, it's just how I feel though.
It's fine though.
Yeah.
Fine, and talk about anything I care about. I'm fucking so happy that women have that, and I'm so happy that women can sit there and say this and talk about issues that concretely affect them. If it's not going to give anything to me, who is it giving something for? As long as it's not giving something to bad people. You know what I mean? If this was the Barbie Nazi movie, and it was oh no, the Nazis have got a platform, well, no, I gotta admit, I don't really agree with that. I don't really quite get that. But this is people speaking to an experience that they have to deal with, trying their best to record it, to give themselves an emotional centre, something to rally behind, people who do experience to go yeah, I agree, to promote, to explore, to talk, and then even if at the chorus of times where I'm well, I don't really feel that way, I don't really get that, I just don't want to use that as an excuse to then put a wall between me and it. I want to just be like, well, okay, maybe I didn't get that and that, but, you know, it's still interesting, it's still relevant, it's still worth it that they get to say that things.
Aye.
Just because I don't get it doesn't mean they shouldn't have got to say it.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying I'm happy it's there, because even if the Nazis do want to make a movie, they can go fucking make the movie.
For God's
Doesn't
sake.
matter if I like it or not.
Bro, please don't let the Nazis make a movie. That's not the message I'm trying to impart.
But that's not my point, right? That's the extreme example, obviously.
I guess.
Point is, I'm happy it exists.
Also, if the Nazis did make a movie, we'd just say, hey, fucking don't go watch it, it's a shitty Nazi
Yeah,
movie.
probably don't go see that.
Fair, I'll give you that, sorry, I'll give you that.
Rip that one online, probably, if you want to.
Fucking, that's the 4chan movie.
Aye, that's the one. Aye, I'm happy it's there, because you can make what you want. I'm happy some people have found enjoyment in it. They've found a message in it that they can get behind and enjoy. But it's not me, it's not for me, so I'm just not going to engage with it until one comes along that I do like, and I can hear the message in it, and I can understand the message in it, and I think that's a message worth listening to. Not that this isn't that, but I just can't quite get to it. I don't know what it is.
Okay. No, okay.
Looking at me with some weird looks.
No, I was trying my best to like resign it to you because
You don't have to resign it. We can go for
I
another
don't
hour if you want.
keep going back and forth. No, because that's like, yeah, I had to give you the grounds of that. You know, it's more important to me that you know, your feelings are in spite of it. You know,
Why would it be?
The basic, well, I mean,
I don't hate women.
Bro, I mean, the fucking tape says otherwise.
Oh my god.
Yeah, the fundamental idea of just they've expressed a concept that I don't understand in a way that has sort of necessarily not gelled with me. While I might disagree with that, I can't really sit and like fucking tell you to just get it. You know what I mean?
Man, maybe I'll like Little Women.
Because well, I want to watch the rest of the Greta Gerwig stuff. I want to watch Lady Bird.
Maybe I like a subtler message.
I think the problem is sometimes subtler messages don't quite get it.
That's possible.
That's my thought. One of the reasons why I was big on this was like, man, I like that we've got to the point now where you just need to stare into the camera and say these things for people to maybe listen.
That's quite possible.
He just doesn't get involved.
I'm just living my own
we
life.
Spend like what? How long have we spent now? Maybe about an hour or so. Yeah, enough an hour.
Political issues. But who knows, man? I don't know political issues. I don't know.
Why don't you think it's a political issue? That's another issue. It's not political. It's social.
Societal.
Pervasive. It's societal. Women's like right to exist unhampered isn't a political issue.
I think I use political interchangeably with like every other type of
A lot
issue.
of people just don't really like think about it, and that's the.
Man, it'll probably become a political issue now, let's be honest.
I mean, unfortunately, the problem is like the mediation. It's like America fucking overturning like abortion rights and that, for example. It's like they make these lifestyle issues a political issue because it's convenient, because they're full of hatred, and because they know it'll get clicks and views and engagement. That's a big thing about the Republican Party in America, that a lot of the stuff they do is just fucking like, okay, well, if we like decide we hate the gays and we hate the trans, like all the old people out in Wyoming will vote for us. So absolutely. Like genocide now, and then they get all the votes and then they get in the government and they're like, cool, now we can start passing all the laws that steal all the taxes and give them to us. And it's like, great, the American two-party system is fucked, and you know what? The British government's fucked, and you know what? The world government's fucked. And I do believe that the chain reaction started by the first nuclear bomb blast will actually destroy the world.
It's quite possible.
Cinematography was good.
Sure, yeah. Aye.
The visuals were good. Barbenheimer looked
Looks
great.
great, yeah.
I like the sort of the heightened reality of a lot of the things in the real world as well. Like the Mattel HQ was like just like silly.
Big
it was
HQ.
just like heightened reality.
Aye.
Yeah, all the performances were great. The music was great. Alexander Desplat. I'm sorry, I said like Desplat. I need to see if it's like Desplat or like Desplat or however you pronounce it specifically. But Wes Anderson's composer worked on Barbie, and I'm like, this just feels like a movie that I get having a Wes Anderson sort of like a wee bit of sprinkle you at the magic.
A bit of magic. Certainly colourful like Wes Anderson movies.
It's very colourful. Colour this was exceptional. It was weirdly like, yeah, if you like know your Barbie stuff, it was like good for Barbie people.
I'd assume it would be. Come on. Yeah.
They've got like real outfits and like the places and the characters. Oh,
Yeah.
Helen Mirren was great. She had some of my favourite laughs of the movie.
Helen Mirren.
Just like the sudden, well, there was the narrative at the beginning, and she jumped back twice just for jokes,
Yeah.
and they're completely random. And suddenly Helen Mirren jumps in with an extra joke, and it was so exceptional. I do like that they had the bit with like Barbie's creator and everything as well. Like that was all just really nice and sweet stuff. And yeah, I mean, to get it off of the stuff that maybe you're less likely to understand, even if you think it came in a bit late, like that was a universal message. That was like a lot of us, all the characters in this do sort of really at their core are grappling with like sort of their vision and their own perspective on their place in the world and like how to get there and how to interact with it. And each character sort of draws their own conclusions as well, which, is a great message. And I think it was put across in a really great way. And even if you don't maybe think, obviously, as you say, it maybe could have led up to it more and blah, 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 blah. But I feel like, you have to admit that the actual, for example, the scenes with like the creator of Barbie and the whole concept of like Barbie sort of going into the real world and that. I thought that was good. It was moving.
Yeah.
I didn't like shed any tears, although I have to really be pressed to like cry or like properly feel at movies now. I might be the autism. My brain just sort of has to be like, oh,
Turn feelings on.
you should feel feelings about this. Oh shit,
Let me feel the feels.
I'm feeling something about this.
Yeah, damn man. Barbie is a movie. It's a miss for me, it's a hit for him.
Yeah, and you know what? We've had that is probably the closest we've ever come to a proper friendship argument. And it wasn't even an argument, it was good, healthy debate. And I would never pin it on you that you hate women, and I don't agree with all that. We joke about it. We absolutely joke about it. Me and Rebecca, my partner, and Graham's partner as well. And we all joke like, oh, Graham just hates men. No, women. Graham hates men too.
I hate everyone, equally.
We all joke that Graham hates women, but I don't believe that of you.
Yes.
I just think, you know, in an intensely, like, socially conscious and politically active age, I just want to, I guess I can never control you, but I really want to make sure I do my best to help you understand these things. And you know,
I think I do find myself, but obviously you disagree with that.
What do you mean?
I think this discussion is like, oh man, Graham's gone down the wrong path, is what I think you're thinking in your head.
Well, it's not so much you're going down the wrong path, I just think you're aligned on the wrong end of the spectrum a bit. Like, if you think of like a whole, like one of those like sort of elevator light, like
I'm leaning more right, you're leaning more left.
Pretty much, but I mean, politics aside, I kind of look at it more in like a sort of a moral right and a moral wrong type of thing. And
man, I live in the grey.
I don't like I don't want to say you're objectively morally wrong. I just want to help you get more aligned with like the collective good. It's beneficial to the collective good that we as a society explore and then work our way to resolve these types of issues. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's before the collective moral good that like we treat everyone equally.
Yes.
But then I'm not sure. It's not like I'm not on a moral crusade.
I don't make that decision.
I'm not the guy to really make it.
The only thing I can do is treat everyone I meet correctly, personally.
I'll give you that as long as you do that. My thought is more just I feel I have the responsibility not to like change people's mind, but just give them the information. I've been through a lot in my life where I've been maybe not the best about things. I've maybe said offensive things or like you treated people maybe differently. I'm not like quite bad. I'm not saying I've been some grand racist in the past, but I know, for example, you go through my tweets for like maybe about a decade ago, and at the point that you get my point, you dig up my old tweets or like you find my fucking Overwatch chat log histories. Yeah. You'll find things that aren't great.
Yeah, if my Xbox history does get leaked, I'm over.
It's
done.
Gone, bro. He is easily 10 years.
Easily, yes.
And I found that through like education of a topic and understanding alternative perspectives, it's helped me feel better about myself. It's helped me to like grow past the things that I feel like I've done wrong, and also just to feel better about me, myself, and life as a human and society. I just feel like it's good for your soul, pretty much. I'm not saying you need to go and like apologise for everything you've ever said.
Yeah, you know I'm not going to.
I just like that's what I mean by I feel like the obligation to try my best to share that information with people who I don't think are seeing it the way I'm seeing it. Right. Because maybe they need to have heard it in the way that I needed to hear it when I needed it. Right. And if I've said all that and you've kind of thought, I don't really agree with you and I'm not really changing, I can't really do anything else. That's it. Right. You know, I've done what I feel I should try and do.
Done all you can.
Whatever you do, that's up to you. I'm not saying you also have like a moral wound that I need to heal. Just that, as I say, I had issues. People helped me learn and grow through that. I try and best to provide that for others, and if whether they want to hear it or not, or maybe they care to hear it or not, and maybe in your case where you're probably like, I just don't care, I just don't really need to, whatever it. You've got your opinion, you've got no reason to like pure think your opinion's bad. I don't even think your opinion's bad. I'd say there's a long gap between you and like fucking I hate women and women made this movie to victimise me people, do you know what I mean? I don't know, I feel a very strong sort of moral righteousness, and I need to be careful not to make it their fault. I don't want to be like a fucking proper like the moral crusader. Like I'm you and I'm going to save feminism and I'm going to fix racism. I just, you know, as I say, I just want to try my best to like share in collective knowledge. Collective consciousness is one of the greatest strengths of anybody. Like class consciousness, like sort of consciousness of like wealth, of inequality. The more people know and the more people think and learn, the better things naturally become. You know what I mean? It's not like I can change you and then that fixes feminism. It's just I'm a very strong believer in like, you know, a global unified collective consciousness to the problems of the world. And, you know, the growing urge to fix things and the growing thought behind it and that sort of stuff. Right. But that's, you know, I'm getting very heady. I'm not going to try and like...
Shit gets too big for me.
I was going to say, you just don't care.
I deal with the granular.
And not in a bad
way.
You.
Like, that's what I'm dealing with.
I was going to say, you're just in top of movies. We're never going to have a talk like this ever again.
I think we probably will at some point.
I don't think we will.
We'll get in the weeds somewhere.
As there's like Greta Gerwig's next time comes out and Graham, I Hate Women.
Well, for next one's a miss, we might have some talks. I wanted to speak about this.
Graham's like, no joking.
If Narnia isn't about Christianity, I will have some questions. I'll have some serious questions.
Oh my god.
A scathing critique of Christianity.
Graham in this episode's like anti-feminism, and Graham in the fucking Narnia episode's pro-Christianity. That's a great character.
I grew up Christian, it's only fair, you know what I mean?
You did grow up Christian.
Throw some back.
I grew up sort of fringe Christian. My family, I guess, were like, just didn't really care. I went to like a non-denominational school, but non-denominational, but also practicing Christian. And like, I was in and around it all, and my family were like, you know, like... I think it's because my dad's got Catholic ties. I think he technically grew up Catholic, and I think he just was like so like over it.
Aye.
So he's like, I would never like push that on my kids type of thing. Not to disservice my dad's family, obviously they're lovely people, and I'm not saying they pushed, but I think I say just my dad sort of like was like, I'm fine. I like the approach.
Meh.
I feel like you have to give Barbie the credit. Her third eye has been open. We've experienced things. We've talked about things that promote spiritual growth and personal development.
Right.
No matter how far, no matter what direction we go and all that, we've experienced the true lived human experience.
Right.
We've engaged in furious discussions and debates, and we've grown mentally, socially, spiritually. Not physically. We're sat on a couch for 2 hours talking about this, but
we might have deteriorated physically. Actually.
Yeah, I think I've deteriorated physically.
Yeah.
My throat's killing me, and I've been drinking the whole time. My stomach hurts, but that might be the Philly cheesesteak.
Yeah.
But no, this was good that this brought this out of us. And I don't want you to think I think any less of you because of your opinions about Barbie.
I'm always scared to talk to you in these kind of ways because I'm afraid he's going to shout at me.
This draws back to the fact that he said he didn't like Captain Marvel, and this was even before I became pure enlightened about Captain Marvel. We came out the theatre, he's like, I didn't like that, and I'm like, you fucking suck ass.
You hate women.
Captain Marvel's fucking based.
And you know what, the jury's still out till the Marvels.
Oh my god. Look, Iman Vellani's in that, it can't be bad.
She'll be great. I don't know about the rest of them, but she'll be
great. Graham hates other women, so there's always another time.
There's always another one, don't worry about it.
No, back then I was very immature about my social leanings. I was very much like, probably the worst of like when you're like fresh, at that time of my life I was fresh onto being like, I should be a bit more politically and socially enlightened and a bit more sensitive to broader narratives. The problem is I went so far in the opposite direction. I was too, literally, like Graham says he doesn't like a female actor, I'm like, well, you fucking hate women. I was bad for that. I almost blame the autism as much as I blame just my own inexperience. So I actually do regret sort of how I was back then.
Yeah.
I'm more just annoyed that I like put Graham in an awkward social situation.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not like I'm preaching bad things. I'm like, be nice to women, but I was very bad about it. I was very...
It was a good and a bad way to send the message.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll accept that. I will absolutely emphatic. I'm sorry I was like that.
That's okay, Ewan. I was very nervous coming to this one. Man, I'll always be nervous speaking about politics in front of you because I think you trump me in every way. Even if I can't fully describe what I'm feeling or the view I hold, I just think you're a much better arguer of points. So even if I was to get it right, I think you'd probably somehow make me feel like I'd lost it or like something like that.
I think, that's unfortunate because it's not my goal. My goal isn't to like basically bedazzle you with like political yelling.
Yes. It's
to sort of just speak to the breadth of the situation and to acknowledge the whole experience as fairly as I can. As I say, I kind of wish I'm more interested in educating than convincing. I don't believe I can convince people. I appreciate you saying I'm a good arguer. I think I've got strength in debate, but like I also have a lot of knowledge to be fair. I'm too locked into the fucking social media sphere of like, I talk to people about politics and social issues, and I hear people, you probably just don't, and you don't need to.
No.
Sometimes I do sort of agree that, again, we need greater consciousness as a fucking global community, but you don't need to log on to twitter.com every day and just get fucking blasted by every update about like what this congressman's done or like what's happening in the Tory party.
Yeah.
So that's fair. I have all this knowledge I'm sitting on, and I have a very strong fucking sense about like justice and social responsibility in that. I say I'm actually genuinely not upset, but like I'm sort of upsetting myself and sorry that I've made you feel that like I'm that type of guy.
Yeah.
I get why you're saying that. I say I'm very opinionated and articulated, and I'm very much about expressing as much as possible. But older me is very much, no, I can just talk Graham down and convince him of the moral rightness. Current you is more like, if I feel like maybe there's something I could do to like guide you towards maybe a conclusion that's for your spiritual health, I'll do that. But I don't want that I want that to be the be all and end all. I don't want to be like you and shouts Graham down and makes him a fucking liberal.
Aye, we'll take it at a point where I like can't be moved or something. I just think that's the right one, and you're like, nah, I don't agree. That'd be funny.
Pretty much. Well, as long as I've said everything I can say about it, and you sort of articulated yourself clearly, then yeah, like it's like the day. I can't really fault you any more than we have. I gave you everything I can, and it's up to you to do that. And if you turn around and you're like, well, do you know what? Here's just still my base opinion in no uncertain terms, and I'm like, yeah, what can I do for you fairly? Especially as like my best friend and someone I love and care about deeply. Mm-hmm. I'm definitely not going to fucking cling to your shoulder and demand you do this and you think this way and that, you know what I mean?
He's going to tie me a chair and waterboard me. He's going to do it.
I mean, I'll do that, but it'll be for something fucking shit and worthless.
Oh my.
Like, Graham, like, I would fucking, like, waterboard you and then clip your eyes out like a clockwork orange. It's like, Graham, we're going to do fucking the Lord of JoJo's.
Oh man, I'd be down for that.
Bro, I think that's more likely to happen than for us to talk about politics on this scale again. I'll tell you that.
Maybe, but JoJo's can lead politics. This is the way.
Yes, well, the main villain of Part 7 is the president, who also is a paedophile.
See?
And also he can teleport between dimensions. Spoilers. Oh, man. I'm so really glad we could have this talk.
Yes.
I thought it was good, it was fun, it was healthy.
Sure.
Do you not?
I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I think if we went through our life never speaking on politics, I'd be a happy person.
That's completely fair.
But it's impossible to ignore and avoid for a whole lifetime, so...
Well, pretty much, aye.
As long as we get better at doing it, I think we'll be fine. Together, I mean, because you're good already.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even when I'm trying my best, I'm still very overbearing. As long as we're on the same buzz, then you know what I mean?
Yes, I think so.
Oh.
Probably.
I think I need my bed.
You need to sleep.
I have a big day tomorrow. I have to go out and lead that rally and fucking draft a bill to Congress. And...
Oh shit! About the UFOs, we need access.
Oh shit, we do need access to UFOs. Fuck! I can't believe UFOs are real.
They're real. We knew the UFOs were real. I think they mentioned that years ago, but we definitely know everything's real now.
Asteroid City was a psyop.
Do you know what?
Wes Anderson knew it.
It was. He would know.
He would know.
He has an alien.
You
Probably.
tell like him.
Yeah.
And like maybe one of the big like James Cameron.
Yeah.
You know, like just do that information what you want.
Like make Avatar because that's what they look like. So like we'll have like a point of reference for it when we see them in real life.
Could you imagine if aliens were real and they were the fucking Na'vi?
That'd be best.
That would be insane. And James Cameron makes a bit of humans go fucking kill them all.
Oh shit.
Dude, what if humanity were the bad guys?
Shit.
Holy shit.
It's weird how movies like that work and then you're just genuinely just like, oh man, aliens are based, like that's cool.
Aliens are pretty based.
Except Independence Day. Independence Day is the opposite.
Oh,
aliens are not based.
And Secret Invasion.
Aliens are not based.
Aliens are not based. Dermot Mulroney said, fuck those aliens.
Fuck those aliens. But give them your super serum power, whatever they do power. That's what they do.
Yes, become super gods.
Yes.
Bonk them on the head with a hammer. And then resolve the plot.
Yes.
And that's the end of the episode.
Goodbye.
And that's the end of this episode.
Probably.
Barbenheimer was a great experience.
I ran out of steam, yeah.
I had a great day out with all my friends.
Yes.
It was just fun. It was nice. Being in the cinema is good.
Yes, it's a safe space.
It's a safe space.
Yes.
Unless you're a man.
Possibly. Seeing Barbie.
Unless you're a man seeing Barbie. Or unless you're a person who's not been blown up by a bomb in their life.
Yes. Or someone with a pacemaker seeing Florence Pugh's scenes of Oppenheimer.
Do you know that was the one bit of CGI in Oppenheimer is that in like sort of like have you seen this?
Yeah, Asia country, something like that.
Maybe Malaysia. Some of those territories they've just had to CGI like a black dress on her.
Yeah, because she's naked.
She's full fucking naked and she's just so good as an actress.
Yes, she has a great performer.
Like,
yes.
I wouldn't want to be lurid, but like she's also very pretty.
Most of these actresses and actors are very pretty people.
Yeah.
Can't lie. That's maybe why they do it.
That's Hollywood privilege.
That is the pretty person privilege, yeah.
I wish I had the money to look as good in Hollywood as some of these other people do. Damn.
Well, people, I think we have run out of steam. This has been the Scenes Podcast.
This has been the
This has been the Barbenheimer episode of Scenes Podcast. There could be a new episode recorded. This might be like in 100 years you hear this from the vault, because we've like destroyed the earth, and like we can let you hear it now. You know, I don't know.
Nuclear bombs.
Oppenheimer. Fallout.
I will see. We'll talk about it. We've recorded this and I'm happy we recorded it.
Yes, me too. Send it unedited. Send it.
Send it unedited.
Unedited. Let it fly.
Ewan's entire rant. 4K 60 FPS.
That's the clip for this one.
That's the clip.
Yeah.
It's 30 minutes.
No, we're not having that. Can't have that clip.
Oh my days. Well, yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I had another great time recording with my friend Graham.
Of course, Ewan.
And I wish you all the best. I love you loads.
Yes, we'll see you for the next one, whatever it may be.
God, aye.
Don't even think we've got a tease for you because we don't really know.
Aye. We just go with the wind.
Yes. Well, next you'll hear Indiana Jones probably.
Yeah, Indiana Jones, maybe even...
one where we agree more.
Final Fantasy. We agree more.
But still disagree just enough for you to like it.
That's healthy debate. This
Yeah.
episode was unhealthy debate.
I wouldn't say so, but...
No, I wouldn't say so either. I'm afraid. I'm saying that because I'm trying to cover my ass because I'm afraid that you feel that way.
No.
We're going to get counter feedback loop now of you saying like, oh, I'm afraid to talk to you about things like politics because he's like talks a lot and he's very good at it and he knows a lot.
Yeah.
And he's a big fucking presence. And I'm going to now be afraid to talk about it because I care more about making you feel comfortable than I do about my fucking bizarre social justice crusade.
Yes. Well, I could just not speak on politics. I'll just not say issues. Trade offer. I'll just not speak about politics.
You get you get like movie discussions I receive never talking about politics ever.
Yes.
That's fair. I don't want to ever silence you. That's my only issue.
Silence. My God.
Well,
people.
good night.
Good night. We'll see you on the next one.
See you next one.
Like, subscribe, rate, 5 stars.
Watch Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Watch them. Make your own opinions.
Yeah, make your own opinions. Always make your own opinions. And support the strikers. Don't scab.
Yeah, support them.
Support the fucking strikers.
Bang, bang.
Night, guys.
Scenes is a fan-created podcast. We have no affiliation with any of the brand studios or properties mentioned. All views are our own.
Produced and edited by my partner, Rebecca. Music is provided by Epidemic Sound, and the cover artwork was commissioned by Rhiannon Cargo on Twitter or Instagram.
Signing off.